GIMP is probably the most famous Photoshop-like free and open-source image editor.
I always recommended this program to the engineers who occasionally needed a PSD viewer or editor, but with a little hesitation.
GIMP is very feature-rich. It has decent PSD format compatibility, yet very hard to get used to. Even as a professional designer who originally learned the layer system with GIMP, I still feel the learning curve is steep.
So, what makes GIMP difficult to use?
From what I have found, the short answer is the disorganized UI and UX. The deep-lying reason is the unclear direction caused by the lack of target users.
What does it mean? First, let's look into the current UI of GIMP.
This is what you see after launching GIMP. At a glance, the interface looks pretty common. Probably, this mascot character Wilbur is the only thing that's rare to see in this kind of interface. But basically, he's just being friendly and cute. So at least for me, it's totally fine to have him here if the bottom part aligns to the bottom of the window. Anyway, let's make a simple drawing to discover what makes the user experience difficult. Create a new image. Select a brush. Well, I prefer a fancy brush for this, so let's choose another shape. And I want to change the brush size here, and the color too. As you see, I've navigated a long distance throughout the window to configure a brush. Fundamentally, the more you have to search for the position of the next tool, the more you'll get a chance of a little decision fatigue. Fortunately, this can be easily prevented by customizing the layout. Let's do it. Now it looks cleaner. The less you have to search for the tools, the more you can save your mental energy and time. From now on, I'd like to show how I would recreate the interface. To the image tab section, I would add tab appearance options so we can allocate some space to the editor, and also make it easy to differentiate visually similar images with different file names. Plus, this active tab color looks more like a press button color. As long as it's called tab, it's essential to make the visual matches the term. I would also give more margins between some elements for better accessibility. Next, let's look into the color panel. Here, we can pick a color. We have different options: GIMP, CMYK, watercolor, wheel, palette, and scales. Wait, why is this square-shaped color picker named GIMP? Why doesn't this CMYK panel have a visual spectrum, but there is always a hex value, which only works with RGB color mode? I think this panel should be totally reorganized. First, I prefer to see both the spectrum and values at the same time. This way, I can roughly choose the color here and adjust the preset values after. In the same panel, I would add the CMYK option, so I can still choose a color in the same manner when soft proofing is enabled. The same goes for the HSP/LCH selector. This way, I won't need the CMYK and scale panels separately. Finally, I would change the panel name GIMP to something related to the panel's characteristic. Probably, a simple name like Square would be easier to understand. I do the same to Wheel and Watercolor. And the palette. This looks like a duplicate of palette editor but with no editing ability. So let's remove it from here. Here, it looks more organized. To add a few more things. The name of this panel on the Other tab list is Colors, but on the other hand, its tooltip says it's FG/BG color. This should be standardized. And I would change the default of the tab appearance from the state of the tool to icon. Especially, beginners will be confused if the tab icon changes each time a different sub-option is selected. Next, let's improve the color palette. In GIMP, you can open and edit the palette from the palette list by double-clicking its thumbnail. I noticed that nothing happens when you click the palette name, so I have more concern about these two text fields placed on the top and the bottom. Here, you can filter which list you want to see. But by default, you probably see no option available. To use the filter, we have to have at least one palette that has a tag. So a tag editor exists here. Two fields for different purposes share the same look and no hint of their usages. This is very confusing. I think these fields should be unified to let users naturally find where they can modify anything regarding the palette list. To assign different roles to this text field, I want to add a filter and an edit button. By clicking filter, we can see what filter options are available, or a short instruction about how you can add an option if nothing is registered. The edit button changes the text field's function to a tag editor, so you can assign tags here, and press the button off to switch the text field back to the filter mode. Alternatively, I would just make a tab column where you can edit tags directly. About the default selection of palettes, let me share my honest opinion on it. Most of the palettes seem randomly added without having a standard. This web palette is nice for designers and developers. The pastel and muted are clearly themed, but why is there a 1980s technical color scheme? And what does China mean for this cool colored palette? We all know China's national color is red, not pink. If I could select what should be default, I would keep only these palettes and add more useful colors for IT people from this collection, and some other palettes for graphic people that cover the spectrum. Next, I would do the same to the brush panel, and I would also remove the spacing bar or replace it with a brush size bar, since spacing is obviously more advanced and less demanded than the other one. Finally, the layer panel. This looks just nice, but why does my brain recognize this as a Windows Update icon? And why is he becoming crazy here? Okay, this pull down is a switcher of default and legacy layer modes. I'm sorry, but it's questionable that this switcher should grab attention 7 years after the legacy mode retired its primary role. To keep the compatibility, I would not remove the options, but push them to the backstage or backyard instead. Let's name it Mode Group. And of course, I want to reorganize this menu section too. There are tons of other things I can put my ideas on, but let's move on to the menus. File. Overall, this looks good. The one thing I would remove is the screenshot icon, since this feature seems not frequently used on the level it should stand out. Edit. The same goes for these fill with thumbnails. Select. Float is a collection of copy and paste operations, so move this to edit. And reorder. Now, the name to path would be more natural if I rename it to selection to path. View. This navigation window also exists in the dockable dialog section inside of the Windows menu, so remove this duplicate, and instead move the guides from the image menu to here. Then reorder a little. Image. And here, somehow I feel deja vu. I saw color management in the view menu too. The content of color management in this menu are almost all related to the color profile, so rename this to color profile. By the way, the standard term of encoding in image editing is color depth. Let's use the standard term. And color mode too. And merge, flatten, and align affect layers, not the image or canvas itself. Again, let's move this. Layer. Here, I think stack can make more sense if it uses the name layer stack or layer order instead. Colors. Those look just fine. Tools. Yes, the toolbox is about tools, but its function doesn't share the same context as other menu items. This must only be located in the Windows menu, so remove it. Filters. I think the animation and the development belong to different types of activities. Let's separate these. Windows. The content inside of dockable dialogues can be much easier to find if they are ordered by functional similarity. I do the same to the other tab, which has the same options. Help. The most confusing thing about this menu is the number of links that go to the same online help page. I think having this user manual section is enough. Plus, this GIMP online section can be more organized if it's grouped by target audience. Well, let's wrap up. From what I have done, I assume the GIMP's biggest problem is a lack of clarification of its target users. Specifying who to target is an essential step to set a project's future direction, goals, and priorities. The official website says GIMP is basically for everyone, but I don't think it's accurate, especially since they also claim that they don't care about the industrial standard or the familiar way to do things. Yes, the standard way is not always the best way. However, imagine what enabled the global population to adopt computer technology, when the concept of the non-fiscal document was totally new. Oftentimes, a standard way has an obvious reason to be standard. And if you want to offer the other way, you cannot just go top-down, but instead, you must speak in their language. That's why it's crucial to know who is them. Even though it's an open source project, which technically means we can change the project's future by ourselves, making a clarification is up to the GIMP team. But sharing our opinion is still important.
This is the reason why I made this video, to hint what could improve the product from a designer's point of view. Anyway, I'm leaving for now. If I missed something, or if you have any other ideas, please leave me a comment. I'm going to share more design ideas in the future.